Welcome to the most disliked show on YouTube. Welcome to the most disliked show on YouTube. Welcome to the most...
So if you're a progressive, then you already know that people within our community vocalized our opposition to Nancy Pelosi becoming House Speaker again, because she just doesn't represent the people. She's not progressive. She's too conservative to lead what should be a left-leaning party. She doesn't support Medicare for all. She's already calling for bipartisanship with Republicans who are fascists. She is proposing a tax rule that would kneecap the progressive agenda. So there's a number of reasons why we should all be against Nancy Pelosi becoming the Speaker of the House again. However, if you've been following mainstream media and what centrist Democratic Party loyalists are saying about our opposition to Nancy Pelosi, they almost always misrepresent our view and why we think Nancy Pelosi shouldn't become Speaker. And they tend to chalk this up to age and gender. And one of the worst examples that we saw of this came from The View, when Whoopi Goldberg decided to condescendingly scold progressives for not supporting Pelosi because not only are we just being ageist and sexist, but she's also saying that we haven't done our homework, because if we clearly did our homework, then presumably we'd know why Nancy Pelosi is so wonderful and why everyone is singing her praise.
Reportedly, some of the newly elected female Democrats are part of a so-called pink wave who are questioning whether Nancy Pelosi should be Speaker of the House. They say, you know, she's too old, she should step aside and let the new So, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's making this argument. I haven't heard a single progressive make this argument. If you'll recall, just a couple of years ago, we were vocally backing a presidential candidate who's around 1,000 years old, Bernie Sanders. So if you think that age is something that we're considering when it comes to Speaker of the House, or any politician for that matter, I couldn't care less about age. All that I want is someone, anyone, who's liberal, who's going to fight for progressive values. And Nancy Pelosi has shown time and again that she's not that person. Now, I've been backing Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is also older. She's 72, just 6 years younger than Nancy Pelosi. And she's also a woman. Why would progressives back someone like Barbara Lee if we were basing our criticism of Nancy Pelosi exclusively on age and gender? I mean, that's just preposterous. It's a straw man. And it shows that Whoopi Goldberg doesn't understand why Justice Democrats and people like myself, anti-Pelosi progressives, aren't supporting her. So she's going to go into her main rant here, and she's going to condescendingly describe your position to you and tell you why you're wrong and also ignorant.
If you're going to be the new folks, you also need to do your homework. Let's take it, for example, a Nancy Pelosi or a Dianne Feinstein. Two women battling and still at work, battling their male counterparts on both sides, okay? Nancy Pelosi got most of that Obama bill through. She fought Obamacare.
Right.
She has been on the side of right for most of the time she's been in. The same with Dianne Feinstein, and the same with a whole bunch of these folks who have gotten older. You know what aged them? Fighting for the right to be an American 100%. So if you're going to represent us, because a lot of folks got in, and, you know, some of y'all calling yourselves, what was it? It's something crazy. Not crazy, but it really kind of freaked me out. Justice Democrats. So I know, so let me just be really clear, because you kind of, on your site, you kind of take a little punch at people. So my question is this, you know, are you saying that other Democrats who've been fighting for 25, 30 years aren't Justice Democrats? You think that, I don't know, let's name a couple of people who've been fighting. John Conyers, who's not there anymore, and you know, yeah, I mean, you need the experience. You need experience to handle all this stuff. And if you don't have it, sit back and learn some stuff and then take over. But you can't come in and pee all over everything and say, it's done.
That was a disgrace. I mean, in a way it's funny because she made a complete fool of herself. She said, if you're going to be the new folks, you also need to do your homework. So she claims we're ignorant while demonstrating just how ignorant she is in actuality. And it's funny because it's such a joke, but at the same time, this really is problematic because she's spreading misinformation, right? She's saying that all opposition to Nancy Pelosi is based exclusively on ageism and sexism, when, again, that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, as she scolds us and says how we need to do our homework, she demonstrates how fundamentally ignorant of politics in general she is, because she states Nancy Pelosi got most of that Obama bill through. Really? You're going to tell us how ignorant we are, but you can't even name the fucking bill? The one accomplishment that you could think of that Nancy Pelosi got through? Really? You can't name the bill? And somebody helped her out and said Obamacare. No, let her go ahead and explain to us why she thinks Nancy Pelosi is an asset to progressives and the left, broadly speaking. That Obama bill. Yes, she was able to effectively whip up enough votes to pass right-wing healthcare reform. Wow, what an accomplishment. Name just one more accomplishment, Whoopi, of Nancy Pelosi. Just one. Just name one. One. That's all I'm asking for. Should I keep waiting?
That Obama bill through?
Maybe, Whoopi, before you start scolding people for not doing their homework, next time before you go on air, maybe just do a quick 5-second Google search to figure out what the name of the legislation is that you're going to credit her for passing. And while you're at it, maybe spend a little bit more time doing your homework when it comes to what the Affordable Care Act actually entails and why it's right-wing healthcare reform that was cooked up by the Heritage Foundation. Now, she also name-dropped Justice Democrats, and she posed a question to them. She said, are you saying Democrats who've been fighting for 25, 30 years aren't Justice Democrats? Yeah, precisely. They're not Justice Democrats, meaning that they literally aren't a part of that organization that is aiming to primary corporate Democrats, but they're also not Justice Democrats just in the sense of the word justice, because they are against justice. Now, you may disagree with that and not see what we're talking about, Whoopi, because you're a multimillionaire, but believe it or not, we're actually opposed to Pelosi because she's not fighting for us. She's not endorsing policy ideas like Medicare for All, and as a result, people are dying because she refuses to act. For those of us who aren't rich, who don't have multiple mansions, Whoopi, if we need a certain medical procedure that our insurance company refuses to pay for, some of us will just have to go without it, meaning that people will die as a result, or they may go bankrupt as a result, or they may have insurance but see a doctor that's outside of their network and then go bankrupt as a result of a gigantic medical bill. Not supporting Medicare for All is a death sentence for thousands of Americans every single year. Now, you probably don't think about the consequences of policies like this. You probably don't think that Nancy Pelosi's unwillingness to support a policy that 70% of the country wants is that important, and you don't think about this while you rich-splain to us why we should support Nancy Pelosi. But her unwillingness to support Medicare for All means that she, by definition, is not in favor of justice, and she certainly isn't a Justice Democrat. If she's okay with a healthcare system where people die and go bankrupt every single year due to a lack of health insurance, that's pretty goddamn unjust if you ask me, Whoopi. But please continue explaining to us just how wonderful Nancy Pelosi is. It's because we didn't do our homework. It's not because you're rich and everything seems lovely as long as Democrats are in office. We actually have to fight for specific policies. Whoopi, you'll be okay no matter what. If a Democrat's in charge, if a Republican is in charge, because you are insulated by millions upon millions of dollars. Normal Americans do not have that privilege, Whoopi. So while you rich-splain, maybe just take the time to learn why we're against Nancy Pelosi, if you could even fathom people being against her, right?
So you're gonna give me a citation. You're gonna give me a citation for not.
Salvation Army tomorrow?
What's that?
Are you going to the Salvation Army to eat tomorrow?
Is it a complimentary?
Yeah.
What time?
It opens at 10. I'm going to go at 11.
Ooh, that's a little early for me. Otherwise, I would go.
You can go till 4.
Where is it?
It's down at the Colorado Convention Center. You go
Downtown?
Huh?
Downtown?
Yeah.
I would be killed if I went downtown.
They give you all the turkey you want, all the green beans with bacon in it, all the pumpkin or pecan pie you want, all the milk, tea, coffee, water, Let's see. So we have mashed potatoes and gravy, turkey, beans, green beans with bacon. That's it. That's what we had last year. A dream whip on your pie if you want it. Everything.
Did you know that Whoopi Goldberg's a really smart person?
Goldberg.
Yeah, because they're trying to oust Nancy Pelosi, the Justice Democrats. We talked about the Justice Democrats. Yeah, on The View. And she said, Nancy Pelosi helped them pass that Obama bill.
Yeah.
And you better educate yourself and do your homework before you come over here and start trying to take over and peeing on everything.
Who? Nancy Pelosi?
You know these guys, you know how smart these guys that I watch on YouTube are?
Yeah.
She was insulting them. She made a fool out of herself, but you love her. You love Whoopi Goldberg, don't you?
Goldberg?
Yeah.
I hate that bitch. She never knows what she's talking about. She's an Obama lover, which is okay, but she's got it all wrong with Trump.
And the Justice Democrats, she has it all wrong with the Justice Democrats.
What about those other ones?
They're trying to oust the corrupt ones.
Behar? What about
Joy Behar, I like Joy Behar. She has a clue. Joy Behar has a
John
clue.
McCain's daughter, Megan McCain. How's she doing on there?
I don't watch the show, I just saw a clip.
Oh.
I just saw a clip from this Mike Figueredo, as well as Kyle Kulinski's Secular Talk, because she was bashing Kyle Kulinski's organization. He's not the head of it anymore. Yeah, because they want to get rid of Nancy Pelosi. Because all Nancy Pelosi, she's corrupt. She's holding this country back. All she does is raise money, divvy it out. Tell me your feelings.
I've seen her on TV. I think she's a Trump lover now. I think she's actually
Because she's rich?
because she's. I can't figure out why she's going with Trump. She acts like she's trying to stand up to him, but she's not. She's siding with him.
Because she likes
Yeah,
the
she's
tax
getting
cuts.
donations and money. It's probably all about money.
Yeah.
Those things are.
Yeah.
Do you think it is?
If what you're saying is true, absolutely. Why else would she? He doesn't like her.
Where's your dog at?
I need to chase him.
Shit.
No, he's inside. He's home.